moving further, ladies and gentlemen, coming up next, we have Ananya Singhal from Studio Saar.
All right, hi everyone. Firstly, I'd like to thank FOAID for this opportunity and for assembling this glittering panel of people who are going to be speaking to you guys. Super humble that I'm a part of it. I'd like to talk to you guys about Third Space, which is a community building we built in Udaipur. It's a building that addressed a certain problem that we saw. The problem was that it started off with the problem being that science education in India basically makes people bored with science. And that results in poor quality engineers, poor quality architects. And we said, right, we need to solve the problem at the base level, make science and applied sciences interesting. That's where the thought of this came from. And then as we developed the idea with the client, it wasn't just science anymore. It was art, craft, culture, everything else. This is in the city of Udaipur. It's a beautiful city, 500 years old. I'm sure all of you have heard of it. If you haven't been to it, please come. Our economy needs your tourist dollars. The city is built around these 7 lakes. And our site was way out when we started working on the project. It was way out on the outskirts, right by National Highway 8. And between 2003 and 2024, you can see the incredible urban sprawl that Udaipur is facing. So when we acquired the site to be in the future center of one of Udaipur's diverse town centers. It's a space for scientific discovery, discovering new skills, physical activity. We have a Olympic-sized climbing wall there. We've already had 2 Western zonal climbing meets. It's a place for culture. Can you spot me out there? Literally is the people of India, and we're hoping to celebrate that through this entire building. The building is, this is a 3D render of a sketch of the section of the building. And the building is designed to be inhabited by people, by activity, and constantly change. The architecture should really just be a background for what we're doing. So when we came about trying to figure out what we want to do and how do we make this imposing building with a very alien program, how do we make this kind of contextual to India, contextual, a place where people find approachable? We started looking at boundaries and local architectural elements to try to figure out what we can reinterpret in a modern way and make the building approachable. So we picked up things like adalaj and the idea of a boundary and entering through or with water. And then we also incredibly informed by the idea of the Haveli homes in Udaipur, Rajasthan, in terms of having a courtyard, having all the circulation around the courtyard, and making the courtyard the center for activity that we see around the city. The other thing that we kind of really focused on was designing the interstitial spaces, the liminal spaces, and allowing the spaces with heavy programming to do what the programming needed. So the exhibition spaces, the cinema, those areas got a lighter touch, and the spaces that we really worked on were the courtyard, the boundary space, and the circulation around the courtyard. Another problem, we already talked about it, Akshay already talked about the immense heat that's in India. And in Udaipur, especially now with climate change, we're approaching 45, 46 degrees centigrade. The client had an option of either air conditioning the whole building or finding a new opportunity to rethink how we can bring a fresher air into the area. And we designed all of these gokras, which were wind catchers. And actually, even in the summer when it's 45 degrees, that area, the boundary, is relatively comfortable. From the inside, all of these wind catchers, the boundaries, they're made of jalis, and they're stone and metal jalis. Again, blending modern technology with craftsmen. So we have water jet cut stone jalis, and then installed by hand by craftsmen. Some beautiful images just because we can. one of the other things that work for the practice is we really want to make sure that we create a culture in the construction industry of reducing waste. Jalis means a lot of waste. And because you're cutting out something like 50% of the material out of the jalis. So we asked the contractor to save all the stone and to save all the metal. And the metal became screens which separate different zones in the building. So we created these chain mails for that. And the floor, we were able to use all the amazing craft skills that exist in Rajasthan as far as stone is concerned and build these beautiful stone mosaics which are part of the floor. The other area where local craft became really important to us was this idea that resilience comes in two different ways. One way to build resilience is to make something really heavy and strong and be able to deal with whatever comes through. And the other one is to build something lightweight, biodegradable, but something that needs regular maintenance. So regular maintenance becomes a part of our strategy. And here we worked with the cane weavers in Udaipur itself to create this very simple, lightweight canopy on top of the play landscape of the building. And this canopy is designed to fail. So if a cyclone comes through or a heavy winds come through, 3 of those junctions will fail, 1 junction will not fail. So all these canopies will flap down. Some might get damaged, some might blow away. But it's relatively easy for us to just reinstate them. They're incredibly low cost. And we just take the waste material and biodegrade it, compost it out. Once we had these patterns and ideas, we said, right, what else can we do with them? And taking the fan brackets from the jalis, we created this elevated walkway around the courtyard, which is actually hung from the ceiling, from the roof, which allowed the ground floor courtyard to be free-flowing. Talking about, this is an incredible part of one of the things that we were looking at was how do we make sure that the community starts to make the space their own? And the way we approached that was, we're not going to be arrogant as architects and say that the building shouldn't be made by the community. So when we were actually building the building, third space was already operational in schools. So we went to the schools and we said, can the schools and university kids build for us, design for us, draw for us this entire ceiling around the courtyard? So the entire ceiling is actually just black markers drawn over. And obviously we had to go through the fine tooth comb. Some people had written swear words and drawn, all sorts of things. But once we'd done that, we were able to put it together. And the building's slowly getting this life of its own, which we really genuinely love. So this is the building. This is what third space is. And please come to it. It is a space for the community. It's a space for discovery, creativity, and thinking of how we can get better citizens who are have more agency than they would do normally.
Yeah, what a beautiful and modern interpretation to, that's inspired from traditional craftsmanship this is. Truly beautiful.